Salam everyone. Welcome to episode 6 of the God's Level Earth series. Allah brings life to the earth after its death, one of the greatest proofs of the Creator. I am joined by Walid. Say hello, Walid.
Hey, peace be upon all of you. I pray that everything is going well with you on your end.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, so I've shown Walid these verses before. 45, 3 to 6. It says, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Indeed, in the heavens and the earth are surely signs for the believers. And in your creation and what he scatters of the moving creatures are signs for people who are certain. So can you see how the creation of the creatures is a sign that brings certainty?
Yes, for those of the Yukinun.
And then 45:5 says, and in the alteration of the night and day, and what Allah sends down from the sky, provision giving life with it to the earth after its death, and the directing of the winds are signs for a people of reason and understanding. Can you see how it's different?
Yep.
This is a sign for certainty, and this is a sign for reason and understanding. So, in your creation and what he scatters of the moving creatures are signs for people who are certain. How is the moving creatures a sign of certainty? It's because creatures contain intelligence and therefore proves a creator, right? Pretty simple.
Yep.
Now, you'll notice about the signs of reason and understanding, it talks about and in the alteration of night and day. We discussed in episode 3 how night and day is a sign of reason and understanding. It's its own creation. The day, its own light, and the night, its own entity, a covering. They orbit and wrap around each other, controlled directly by Allah. This can never be explained by science. It is a different type of sign to the creation of the animals. It's not about intelligence. Rather, it's a divine sign that Allah does directly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that it's not the work of purely quote unquote natural laws, but rather there's a personal being and deliberate mind behind it.
Exactly. And then it says, and what Allah sends down from the sky, provision giving life with it to the earth after its death, which is this video. In the same way, day and night is a sign that can't be explained by science and can only be attributed to Allah, this sign is also the same. And then it says, and the directing of the winds.
Let me read that verse again. And what Allah sends down from the sky, a provision giving life with it on the earth after its death. In the same way, night and day is a sign that cannot be explained by science and can only be attributed to Allah. The sign is also the same. Okay, so the water coming from the sky is in the same category as a night and the day.
Yes, and giving life to the earth after its death. Then it says, and the directing of the winds. This is also the same, which I'll explain in a future video. It can only be explained if the creator is responsible, never by science. So if I keep going. Okay, so these are the signs of reason. And in the alteration of night and day. And what Allah sends down from the sky, provision giving life to the earth after its death. What is the deeper meaning behind this sign that proves Allah? It should hit hard like night and day does. And it can never be explained by science. So remember the plain reading. Oh, alteration night and day. Oh, cool. Yeah, we have day, we have night. Cool story, right? But then I explained to you how it gets deeper than that, right? But that takes a deeper level of understanding. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you say that it cannot be explained by science, I guess for the reference of the watchers, you're basically saying this cannot be explained by quote-unquote naturalistic means.
Right.
That the only explanation of this, in fact, is that it's unexplainable, it's miraculous, it's a miracle of God. That's what you mean by non-scientific.
Correct.
It can't be quote-unquote logically accounted for through our own understanding, at least. It's a miracle.
Exactly.
Okay.
Spot on. So how is, and what Allah sends down from the sky provision which gives life to the earth after its death, how is that a sign with deeper meaning? Because I explained to you, like, people read night and day and they say, oh, cool, right? Simple.
Yeah.
Right? But then I showed you how it's even deeper than that, right?
Yeah, you did.
Then just, oh, cool, night, day, yeah, nice. No, it's deeper than that, right? So same
Light
thing.
and day are different than sun and moon. Different than sun and moon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So how is what Allah sends down from the sky provision and giving life to the earth after its death? How is that? Okay, cool. You know, he brings life. What is the deeper meaning behind it? Do you have any idea?
How is God sending down water from the sky and giving life to a dead earth? How is there a deeper meaning behind it? Obviously, the way I interpret this is that this is an analogy for us resurrecting from the earth, but I'm sure you'll say it goes even deeper than that.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, so let's keep going. So then you also have 2164, which says, indeed in the creations of the heavens and the earth, and the alteration of the night and day, and the ships which sail in the sea, with what benefits the people, which connects to the winds, because we're talking about sailing ships, right? So remember in this verse and the directing of winds. See how it talks about night and day, directing of winds. So the directing of winds push the sailing ships. That's the connection. And what Allah sends out from the sky of water, then giving life with it to the earth after its death, and the dispersing therein of every moving creature, and the directing of the winds and the clouds control between the heavens and the earth, are surely signs for people of reason and understanding. So this is another verse summarizing these verses, right? Saying basically the same thing. Same signs for a people of reason and understanding. So giving life to the earth after its death. 57:17. No, be aware, realize, understand that Allah gives life to the earth after its death. Indeed, we have made clear to you the signs that you may understand, use reason. What is Allah trying to say here? How can we know, realize, understand that Allah is the one who does this? Think about my question.
So you have to investigate the causes.
Right. So in fact, when we say here, and what Allah sends out from the sky of water, right? Like I'm more focusing on the giving life to the earth after its death, right? That's the part we're focusing on. Not like the rain mechanism. I'm focusing particularly on the last part. So know, so the word means know, but it also means be aware, realize, understand that Allah gives life to the earth after its death. Indeed, we have made clear to you the signs that you may understand and use reason. Then we have 30:50. So look at the effects of Allah's mercy. How He gives life to the earth after its death. Indeed, that surely He gives life to the earth, and He is everything all powerful. You're gonna see Allah keeps bringing this up again and again and again and again. Multiple verses saying the same thing, but people don't see the deeper meaning. You have 30:24. And among His signs, He sends down from the sky water and gives life with it to the earth after its death. Indeed, that is surely a sign for people who use reason. And a sign for them
so there's
in the land.
There's something special about this phenomenon.
Correct. And a sign for them in a land dead. We give it life and we bring forth from it grain, and from it they eat. What is Allah trying to say here? How is this information a sign? And Allah has sent down from the sky water, then He gives life with it to the earth after its death. Indeed, that is surely a sign for people who listen, who are listening. You understand? To Allah's verses.
Yeah.
What He's telling us, look here, investigate, think deep, think about this, right?
Yes.
43:11. And He is the one who sends down from the sky water in due measure. Then we revive it, a land dead. And we send down from the sky pure water, so that we may give life with it to a land dead. Again, what is Allah trying to say here?
Yep.
And He is the one who sends the winds with glad tidings from before His mercy, until when they have carried heavy clouds, we drive them to a land dead. Then we send down from it water, then we bring forth all kinds of fruits. And we have sent down from the sky water blessed. Then we grow with it gardens and grain in harvest, and tall date trees with its layers arranged, a provision for the servants. Yes?
Quickly, I want to comment on that point. So it's just the word, it's saying that the God sends down the water blessed. And I know we're taught nowadays to be afraid of rainwater, it's polluted, but no, God says it's blessed. So I can only take it as this is the most purest water that we can drink.
Well, I would say that naturalistically it is the purest water, but they're pumping so much shit in the sky, chemtrails and all that, that could easily get into the water, logically, right? But naturally it shouldn't be that.
So it comes out pure. It comes out pure, but then it can get tainted. Yeah,
it can get tainted on the way down, right? Exactly.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
A provision for the servants, and we give life with it, a land dead and lifeless. And Allah is the one who sends the winds, so they raise clouds. Then we drive them to a land dead. Then we give it life to the earth after its death. And among His signs, you see the earth humbled. Then we send down upon it water, it gets stirred and grows. Indeed, the one who gives life is surely the giver of life to the dead. Indeed, He is on everything all-powerful. 32:27. Do they not see that we drive water towards a land barren and fertile? Then we bring forth the crops, eat from it the cattle and themselves. Then do they not see? So what is Allah asking us to see that we're not seeing, right? There's something there that, I'm not joking, I'm going to lift the veil off your eyes. Majority of mankind haven't realized. They're blind.
The big point being this year.
Yes. So let's use a desert, a dead land as an example. What happens if it rains in the desert?
Not much. I mean, I don't think flowers start growing out of there.
Incorrect. If it rains in the desert, all different plants will start to grow. Think of the middle of the Sahara Desert. Think of the middle of Saudi Arabia. If it rains, if there's enough water and rain, plants will start to grow. I can show you some examples.
Okay.
So this is that Saudi Arabia has turned green after heavy rain. So you see the sand? You see this sand?
Yep.
If it rains, it'll become this.
So are you saying that the rain, when it comes down by God's will, it makes fertile soil?
Sorry?
You're saying that the rain, when it comes down by God's will, it makes it fertile soil.
Yeah, it like makes the sand like soil, right? And then plants start to grow, right? So you can see the before and after.
Oh, okay. That's beautiful.
So, parts of the Sahara Desert are turning green amid an influx of heavy rain. We're talking like the most arid regions, dead desert, right? It rains, plants start to grow. Following?
Yes.
So, my question for you is, after it rains in the desert, plants will start to grow. Where do the plants come from? My question.
I don't want to get this wrong. Perhaps they come from the water itself that God is sending down?
Okay, try to answer like an atheist.
Okay. Where do the plants come from? I don't know. The nutrition that's latent within the soil gets activated by the water.
So,
Mother Nature, the laws of nature, all this crap.
yeah. So the law of nature says, you know what the scientific cope is? According to mainstream science, there are dormant seeds in the soil that sprout when the rain comes. So they're telling you in the dead desert, there's seeds in the soil waiting, right? Then when it rains, the seeds sprout because you can't have intelligence coming from nothing or intelligence coming from water, right? They need the seed there to be an atheist.
Yeah, that sounds too deliberate and not accidental.
Correct. You need seeds there as an atheist, right? The water comes and then the seeds sprout, the plants grow, and then they produce seeds and drop seeds. So what they say is all deserts used to be forests. They used to have plants.
Oh, I got.
So
Okay.
in the dead deserts, they'll tell you that there's seeds in there, right?
They'll tell you that there's eggs that flies secretly laid in there that you can't see.
Correct, and insects. So let's stick with the plants for now. If they're claiming that there's seeds in the sand, shouldn't they be able to dig up the sand and pull out the seeds?
Sure, why not?
Now, when they do that, I'll show you the proof. There's no seeds. So they're digging in the sand, they're looking in the dead desert soil, in this, they dig through this. See this sand here? They dig through it, can't find any seeds, right? Yet when it rains, plants start to grow. So when they're actually digging in the sand, they're claiming there's seeds. They claim there's seeds there, right? But how come they can't dig up these seeds and pull them out? If they're there.
Because they're not there, obviously.
Right? Now, so you keep going. Yeah. So where do the plants come from? So this is what they say. So if there are no seeds in the desert soil, when it rains, where are the plants coming from? It's just soil and water, right? So from an atheist explanation, how would they ever explain this? Right?
Yeah.
They can't. They just say that there's seeds there, but they've never proven it. They just claim it. So if we keep going.
So just to make it clear to the audience, the reason why they have to have the seeds already in the ground, or they can't have life if the nutrition, I should say, the plants are coming from the sky and from the water, or that's clear evidence of intelligent design because they can't bring life from non-life. So they have to humble themselves to the powerful creator who does that. So they have to say that it was dormant in there.
Right, because they have this narrative that that intelligence took billions of years to form. Yet we have examples of intelligence forming in a couple of days after rain, right?
That's brilliant, yeah.
So this destroys their model. Their model is that the deserts used to be forests that drop seeds in the sand and they're waiting, right? So we keep going. So the plant life is brought forth by Allah directly and he uses the water to do it. 30:24. And among his signs, he sends down from the sky. He sends down water from the sky and he gives life with it. He gives life with it to the earth after its death. Indeed, that is surely a sign for people who use reason. A completely dead desert with no seeds. Again, I will prove it. Somehow sprouts plants after it rains. From where are these plants coming from? He sends down from the sky water, and he gives life with it to the earth after its death. Who's doing this?
It's not latent within the earth. It's coming from heaven, from God.
So when Allah says he does something, he gives life. It's something he's actually doing. Do you understand? It's not like some mechanism he put in there.
Yeah, it's not laws of nature. It's active, it's personal, it's deliberate.
And that is surely a sign for people who use reason. And Allah has sent down from the sky water, then he gives life with it to the earth after its death. Indeed, that is surely a sign for people who listen. A completely dead desert with no seeds, again, I will prove it, somehow sprouts plants after it rains. From where are these plants coming from? Allah is directly bringing forth these plants using the water. And he sent down from the sky water, then we bring forth with it pairs of every plant diverse. Do you not see? Yep.
And I guess that's why it would make sense why God calls it blessed water.
Well, so yes and no, because for example, you could have like a patch of soil. You can add water, and plants will start to grow out of nowhere. But the thing is, that water came from the rain anyway. All water comes from Allah, from the heavens, right? Do you understand? All of it comes from the heavens. So whether it drops down, you collect it, and you collect it in your water tank, and then you water the plants, it's still water from the heavens, right?
Yes.
So yes, the water is blessed, but all water is blessed, is my point.
Right.
Do you not see...
but with varying degrees of tampering, but it all comes blessed.
Correct. Do you not see that Allah sends down from the sky water? Then we bring forth with it flowers, fruit of various colors. And he is the one who sent down from the sky water. Then we bring forth with it vegetation of everything. Indeed, that is science for people who believe. Allah is bringing forth the plants using water. It's literally soil, water, and then Allah brings forth all different types of plants.
Right.
Do you not see that Allah sends down sky from the water, then becomes the earth green? Indeed, Allah is most subtle, all aware. And we sent down from the pressing ones, water pouring abundantly, in order that we bring forth the grain and vegetation, and gardens of dense, thickly clustered. Allah is bringing forth these plants using the water. Without him, these plants would not come forth. Right? So people think when they're walking around and they see all these plants, that these plants that they see growing came from a seed, right?
Yeah.
While some plants do come from seeds, not all of them. Do you understand? So in a completely dead desert, there are no seeds. So that's how you know it's Allah doing it directly. But even in non-deserts, a lot of the plants that you see, which I'll show you growing around, didn't come from seed, but were directly produced by Allah. So desert sand can get extremely hot, with surface temperatures often reaching 80 degrees Celsius.
Wow.
For hundreds of years. So a desert is dead desert for hundreds of years, and the sand is 80 degrees Celsius. A desert can be
any life, any seed or life that would be latent within there would be utterly scorched.
Exactly. So they're telling you there's seeds in there waiting, but how hot the sand gets would literally cook the seeds, right?
Yeah.
For hundreds of years, it could be 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 years, even in their model. When it rains, plants will start to grow. Then it rains, and suddenly plants appear. So the seeds are sitting and cooking in this hot sand for hundreds of years and surviving. Now I'll prove there's no desert, there's no seeds in the desert soil. So this is a Negev desert study.
Seed theory debunked.
In a Negev desert study, visual inspection of the soil showed no seeds. So they went through the soil in the desert. They didn't find any seeds. So they're going through the soil and they can't find any seeds. But when they added water to the soil sample, dozens of seedlings appeared. So they're looking through the soil. They don't find any seeds. They add water. Then plants appear. So their conclusion is, no seeds could be found in the desert soil when they collected and inspected it. So when they add water to the soil sample they had collected, plants started to grow. They then concluded there are seeds in there, but could not find them visually, and then assumed they are hidden. Do you understand?
Okay, there we go.
So their evidence that there's seeds in the sand is that when they tried to inspect it visually, they couldn't find it. When they added water, plants grew. Therefore, there are seeds. They're hidden.
That's the height of irony right there. They'll say they don't believe in God because they can't see him, but they'll believe in metaphysical invisible seeds.
What the
What a
experiment
joke, man.
actually found was that there were no seeds found present in the soil. Adding water triggered plants to grow, so they only assumed there were seeds in the soil, which they could not find, thus proving they are divinely brought forth with water by Allah. It's upon them to prove there are seeds in there, not assume it. Just because plants
Yeah.
started to grow, the default position is that there are no seeds, as they could not find any. And when water was added, plants were brought forth. The question is, from where? So when they look in the soil, they can't find any. When plants grow, oh yeah, there must be. There must be, right? Because how
Yep.
are plants coming from nowhere, right?
Because they can't logically account for it in their scientific models and their naturalistic theory.
Correct. So they'll tell you, look, it says they were either too small, deeply buried, or lack the character structure used for visual identification, right?
Yeah.
In the negative study, visual inspection of soil showed no seeds, but water triggered germination produced dozens of seedlings, which is like the baby sprouts, from a single sample. The experiment proves Allah's claim, which is that plant origin are from a divine source, which uses water to bring forth the plants. 2053. And we sent down from the sky water, then we bring forth the pairs of every plant diverse. 699. And he is the one who sent down from the sky water, then we bring forth with it vegetation of everything. Indeed, that is science for people who believe. These verses directly mention the bringing forth of a plants, the initial sprouting, not the growing. Where Allah is bringing forth the plants from the water. They're coming from nowhere, essentially.
Okay.
Scientists can never find the seeds in completely dead desert soil. Therefore, they can never prove they are there. Instead, they collect the soil, add water, and monitor for sprouts. Record what grows. This is the
So
only
you're saying
reliable way to confirm a seed was present.
so you're saying that if I went to a completely dead desert and I took a big pot of soil or desert sand
Mm-hmm.
and I started applying rainwater to it, that it would start developing vegetation.
That's what they're saying. They did in the study, in the experiment.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I haven't done it myself, but they're saying when they went through the desert soil, they couldn't find any seeds. But when they added water, plants started to sprout. Therefore, there were seeds, right? But
Yeah.
even in reality, you go to the desert, you don't find any seeds. But when it rains, plants start to grow. How? From where? Whether it's a small scale experiment or a large scale or reality, right? So the summary is:
Yeah.
can they prove they are there by sifting through the soil? No, they never find them, right? So they assumed there were seeds after plants started growing when they add the water. Therefore, until they can prove there are seeds in the soil directly, which they never have, all we have is empty soil producing plants after water is added, which then leads us to ask, where are these plants coming from? 699. And he is the one who sent down from the sky water, then we bring forth the vegetation of everything. Indeed, that is science for people who believe. So there are two types of desert soil studies. You have the hyper-arid dead deserts. So a hyper-arid dead desert is a desert with no plant life, okay? There are no
Yep.
plants currently growing. They do the germination trials only. They add water and see if anything sprouts. The focus is on whether life can reappear after water. In dry, hyper-arid zones with no plants, they cannot visually find any seeds, so they rely solely on germination, which is adding water, to prove they are there. But then you have studies
Okay.
that are
They're working backward. They're working backwards from their conclusion.
Then we have studies that are semi-arid active deserts. So these are deserts that have plant life. They're not dead deserts. They have plant life, just not much. So plants are present
Yeah.
or were recently present. There are, in fact, seeds in the soil, often near shrubs or grasses. Seeds can be found visually. Sieving a microscope is used. Also combined with germination trials, adding water. So visual extraction is used and viable where there's vegetation or recent growth history. So in deserts where there's some plants around, right? They're able to find seeds in the soil, right?
Okay.
If
Yeah.
they're able to sift through the sand and find the seeds, why can't they do the same method for the completely dead desert with no plants around, dropping no seeds?
Yeah.
So
Well,
you
the
can't.
conclusion it would have to be that where there are plants, you will find seeds, but where there are no plants, naturally, there's no seeds.
Right. But for some reason, in the dead deserts, they're invisible and cannot be seen. But in the semi arid active deserts, you can find them and you can see them and you can sift them through the sand, right?
Yeah.
So in a completely dead desert, there are no seeds. They can find visually. Yet when they add water, plants start growing. Yet in a desert that is not dead with plant life, they can find the seeds visually, usually around the plants themselves. Why can't they use the same sieving plus microscope method to prove there are seeds in completely dead deserts? Yet when it rains in a dead desert, plants sprout everywhere. Like it's all over the place, right? But they can't find it.
Yeah, that's interesting. So the seeds should be everywhere. In fact, you can't stop finding them. You keep running into them because when it rains, plants just sprout up, as you showed with those videos in the Middle East.
Exactly. So even animal life appears in dead deserts after rain. Even in completely dead deserts that have been dead for hundreds of years, when it rains, not only will plant life appear, but also insect life. And once again, scientific studies do not focus on finding these dormant insect eggs in the sand. They instead collect soil samples, add water, then insects emerge from the soil. So when they're going through the soil, they can't find any eggs, right? Of
Yeah.
these insects.
Ooh, I got another comment on that. So this goes to what I said about the maggots, and also another thing that I've wondered as well. If you go to mountainsides or places where natural bodies of water that are completely isolated, small ponds, the size of like a backyard or something, somehow in the middle of nowhere, there's fish in that pond.
Correct.
And nobody came and put fish in there. Where did those fish come from?
Correct.
Those fish, their entire life is in that small backyard-sized pond in the middle of nowhere. They don't ever leave that spot. Where did they come from? Because if you type it up online, again, they will start coping. They will say, oh, the fish eggs came from a different pond, but they attached to these birds' legs that migrate thousands of miles, and then they accidentally ended up getting dropped into those ponds, and that's how the population formed.
I'm thinking now even larger animals like fish and that, they're literally spawning from the ground, like all over the place, right?
From the water.
Yeah.
It's so obvious. Again, you find a pond in the middle of nowhere on this mountain or like, a little body of water, and there's fish swimming around in there.
So 3050. So look at the effects of Allah's mercy. How he gives life to the earth after its death. Indeed, that surely he gives life to the dead, and he is on everything all powerful. Allah also brings forth insect life out of nowhere. You have deserts that are dead for hundreds of years, right? And remember, we talked about how the desert sand is extremely hot and cooking. So they're saying in that extremely hot cooking sand for hundreds of years, there are insect eggs in there, not burning, surviving the heat.
Also invisible.
Also invisible. So yes, even after hundreds of years, dormant insect eggs and seeds can survive in deserts. They stay hidden and inactive until rain comes. This is why even in places with no visible life for generations, plants and insects suddenly appear after rainfall. Scientific studies, how do they detect them? They collect the soil sample, add water to trigger hatching, observe what emerges. This is how they can confirm dormant insects are present. By hatching, not by sight. Do you understand? So they go through the soil, can't find any eggs. Add water to the soil, shit starts coming out of nowhere. It must be there. There must be eggs and there must be seeds, right?
Yeah.
Why you might still see insects after rain. Those insects were already there, but invisible as eggs or larvae. Rain activates them so they hatch, grow rapidly, and appear as if from nowhere. Oh, very nice. Summary answer. You can't reliably find dormant insects by looking through the soil. Their survival forms are too small and hidden. Scientists rely on moisture-triggered emergence to detect them, not digging or sieving alone. How can you not find the eggs? I can see maggots. I can see insect eggs, right? So you have deserts that have been dead for hundreds of years and cooking in the hot sand, right? They're telling you there's eggs in there and seeds that don't die from this hot sand. They're there, but you can't see them.
Yeah.
Okay, you go.
But meanwhile, I can barely keep my fishing mealworms and worms alive in my fridge, so I can go for my next fishing trip later on.
Like, you know what's interesting? In the desert, it actually gets very cold, right? So you have extreme heat and extreme cold. So probably the desert sand is colder than your fridge.
Yeah, because there's no moisture there, the heat leaves very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yes, your worms die in the fridge, right? But think about the desert the sand is probably colder than your fridge. Yet there's eggs in there, hundreds of years dormant, right?
And then in the daytime, it's like my stove.
Yeah, exactly. So cooking and extreme cold, hundreds of years, water adds. All these plants start coming out of nowhere. All these insects start coming out of nowhere. Science cannot explain it. They just assume they're there. We can't see them, right? Because it wouldn't make sense to them that they're coming from nowhere. Do you understand? They're operating in a different world view.
So your whole point is when they say, "Oh, what you're saying, your theories about how life comes forth is unscientific."
Oh, hold up. Actually, one second.
Yeah. So I was just saying they'll try to bring up this point and say, "Oh, your theories of how life comes forth from the dead is unscientific," and basically your whole argument is that's the point. Life coming from the dead is unscientific. That's why God did it.
So when you tell an atheist this, how do dead deserts bring life? They'll tell you that the seeds are being carried by the wind there and dropped there, right?
Oh yeah, they'll do the same thing with with fish eggs too. They'll say birds and also wind will blow them.
Yep. So they want you to believe completely dead deserts contain seeds and insect eggs waiting dormant in the extremely hot sand for hundreds of years, which they have never proven the seeds or eggs are there, which is hiding Allah's clear sign. No, be aware.
Little insect eggs, fragile little insect eggs.
Yeah, exactly. Cooking in the sand. No, be aware, realize, understand that Allah gives life to the earth after its death. Indeed, we have made to you the signs clear so that you may understand and use reason. Can you see the deeper level now?
Yeah. Wow.
Allah is making it clear to us that He is the one giving life to the earth after its death. He wants us to know, realize, understand that He is giving life to the earth after its death. He is making the sign clear for us so that we may use our reason. There are no seeds, nor insect eggs, and this is one of His clear signs. We only assume they are there because without Allah's guidance, we would not realize they are there. In fact, they will not realize that there are in fact none as we observe. So then...
Okay, so those insects or maybe fish that come forth, those maggots, basically the scientists are saying they have mommies and daddies, but we're saying no, they don't have mommies and daddies. They were made there on the spot.
Correct. Even like flies will disappear during winter, right? They'll tell you they're hiding in homes, under ship piles, waiting, but you never find them.
Yeah, that's something I wondered that too. I'm like, all the insects obviously die when it's minus 30 here in Canada, freezing cold. Where do they come back from? And I always thought it's just God who makes them. He brings life to a dead earth, as He says. That's what I always thought.
So that's the seasons, right? That's the season aspect. The earth dies, it comes winter, plants die, right? It's like you can dig up any patch of soil and there'll be worms and little beetles and all these insects. It's like, wait, where did they come from?
Yeah.
So then, where is this plant life and insect life coming from? That's how we can know, realize, understand Allah is the one bringing forth these plants and giving life to the earth after its death.
Yeah, with no mommies and daddies.
No mommies and daddies. Allah compares His sign to the resurrection. And Allah is the one who sends the wind so they raise the clouds. Then we drive them to a land dead. Then we give it life. Then we give life with it to the earth after its death. Thus will be the resurrection. A dead land with no life. Allah sends it water, then suddenly plants and insect life appear out of nowhere, from nothing except water. Thus is the resurrection. In the same way, we will be brought back on the day of judgment. Subhanallah.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the connection. And He is the one who sends down from the sky water in due measure. Then we revive with it a land dead. Thus you will be brought forth. In the same way, Allah's going to bring us forth. He brings forth the living from the dead, and He brings forth the dead from the living. And He gives life to the earth after its death. And thus you will be brought forth.
In the same way how they come out with there's no birth, no mommy or daddy, we're going to be reborn with no birth, no mommy or daddy.
Correct. So this is important for some people who are watching that are Quran alone or Muslim. This is a new idea to them, such a concept, especially if they're coming from like a different worldview. Why is Allah comparing Him bringing life to the earth after its death like the resurrection? Very interesting. In fact, I noticed this. Some Muslims want to say that Allah works on rules and nature, right? That's who He is. That's His sunnah. So the question is, why would He raise us up on the day of judgment from nothing then if His sunnah is always to have births? Do you understand? So on the day of judgment, we're raised up from nothing, but now we're not. Now everything has a law.
That's how they'll interpret that verse where it says the sunnah of Allah or sunnah of Allah does not change. They'll say this is something to do with laws of nature. I've heard this even in my own family, but that's not the case. If you read that, the sunnah of Allah is destroying evil-doing people when they
Correct.
reject Him, destroying societies. It's not talking about any laws of nature.
Correct. But even then, Allah is already, His sunnah is to raise the life from the dead. Do you understand? So it's the sunnah anyway, right? It's His sunnah to do miracles with the prophets, right?
Right.
So, in the same way He brings life to the earth, He can bring us up on the day of judgment. He's not changing His ways. It's the same in our reality. In their reality, He has laws. Everything has a birth, right? But on the day of judgment, He abandons all those laws and starts raising everyone up, right?
Yeah.
Allah compares His sign to the resurrection. And we have sent down from the sky water blessed, then we grow with it gardens and grain harvest, and the tall date trees for its layers arranged, and a provision for the servants. And we give life with it to a land dead, lifeless. Similarly is the coming forth. Many times. Look how many times He's comparing it. And He is the one who sends the winds with glad tidings from before His mercy, until when they have carried heavy clouds, we drive them to a land dead. Then we send down from it water. Then we bring forth all kinds of fruits and flowers. Thus, we will bring forth the dead so that you may take heed. 22:5. O mankind, if you are in doubt about the resurrection, right? Then He starts talking about how He creates us in the wombs of our mothers, right? As an example. Look, He already created you once. And you see the earth lifeless, then we send down on it water. It gets stirred and swells and grows every kind beautiful. So if you doubt the resurrection, look at how Allah created you in the wombs and how He brings life to the earth after its death.
Right.
So there are two ways plants come forth. Method 1, the way everyone knows about, is from seeds. 695. Indeed, Allah is the splitter of the grain, corn, seed, and the fruit stones, which are hard seeds like the seed of date trees, olives, and peaches.
Yep.
Even that way, Allah is the one responsible, as He is the one who splits them open and brings forth the plant. Understood? This is the one that everyone thinks happening all the time. But there's another method. Method 2.
The mommy daddy theory.
Method 2. The way very few people have realized, and only because of Allah's guidance. Allah brings them forth using the water, no seeds. 2053. And send down from the sky water, then we bring forth with it players of every plant diverse. 699. And He's the one who sent down from the sky water, then we bring forth the vegetation of everything. Indeed, that is science people who believe.
Just like us. Okay, so there's two ways humans can come. There's the seed, with the uniting of a man and a woman, and then there's also the resurrection, which is no seed.
Correct. So,
wow. Okay.
Allah brings forth the plants with water alone. This happens in completely dead deserts to revive them, and even everywhere else. So what I want you to realize now is that, okay, in a dead desert, it's easy to realize that it's coming from nothing, right? But even in places like in your area, in your city, right? There are plants that didn't come from seed. Like, you'll just look at your backyard and there'll be like a random like berry tree growing there, right? Like, wait, how did this berry tree get?
Both seed and non-seed.
Right. Now, science will say things like wind and like a bird ate some berries and it took a shit in your yard and then it grew. That is possible. No, actually, I would say that's possible. A bird could eat the seed, shit in your yard. But there's also the chance that it was just divinely brought, right? It's very hard to tell between the two. The easiest places to tell are the deserts, right? Because there's nothing there.
Right.
They're
the most graphic example.
Yeah. So we use that to lift the spell, so you realize, wait, maybe the plant that I'm seeing here didn't come from a seed. So I'll start to give you examples. And I showed you these verses. Okay. Let me prove to you that many of the plants we see around us do not come from seeds and were in fact directly created by Allah's will. Method 1, proof 1. As I showed you before, plants appear out of nowhere in completely dead deserts, which contain no seeds after it rains. This is the best evidence, and it helps lift the covering from our eyes. Now that we know this happens in completely dead deserts, also the studies will show they conduct a visual inspection or so and find no seeds, yet out of water and plants appear. Let's take this understanding and realize it also happens everywhere else. Yes, a lot of the plants around us did not come forth from seeds, but rather were brought forth by Allah by the water. This will take some pondering, and only Allah can make you see it, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. So the cracks of concrete, right? You'll be walking in the city, and there'll be like plant growing between, see these cracks here? On the wall or on the floor. It's like, Why is a plant decided to just crack through this little crack? You had soil,
Yeah.
they covered it with concrete. Years later, rain entered the cracks and plants started to grow.
That's so interesting. It was originally covered completely by concrete.
Mhm.
Then the concrete split open and got warped, and suddenly now there's plants growing through it after rain.
Correct. So were there two possibilities in the atheistic? There were seeds waiting under there the whole time, and then the right spot cracked open, or like a wind blew some seeds into the crack, right?
Yeah.
Yet, when you're walking on the ground, and you won't see seeds on the concrete. Like, just, you'll never see the seeds. Like, why don't you see a seed like
That's a good point.
here, they can pick up, be like, oh, let me put this in the crack, right?
Yeah.
Or on walls, like this is a wall. This is a wall. Like, how did the seed just come here, right? Sides of raised buildings. Look, why is there plants growing in the cracks of these bricks?
Wow.
Here, at the crack, or here on the top of the house here. Did a seed fly up there, like, or was there like a patch of soil and it was brought forth directly?
Hmm.
How concerned should I be? Plants growing in a brick of external wall of an apartment building. Huh? Why are plants just growing here? Did the seeds fly up there?
Would you say there's little bits of soil in between those bricks?
Yes.
Debris?
Yes.
Okay.
And water. Plus water, boom. Our own backyards, right? So you'll notice in your backyard, you have to scrape out the weeds and shit every couple weeks, right? Otherwise, it becomes underground.
Yeah.
You can scrape out this shit and then add pesticides to try and kill everything. You can keep doing it when it's young, but it will always overgrow and grow back, even if there's no seeds. It's because of the water's doing it. Do you understand?
People have done this as well. In fact, my wife and I have done this. I remember when we were out in Calgary one time, we went out to this nature area, this pond, and we built like a little biome, a little jar. So I got mud from the water, so from the area, different plants, and I planted them in there. No, I'm telling you, no eggs, no nothing, no bugs. And then we just kept watering it every day, leaving it in the sunlight, and then boom, bugs were growing inside of that little jar. Baby micro bugs.
Oh, funniest thing happened. I had once like a container of food, okay? It was in my cupboard, right? I opened it. I got freaking shocked. There were like all these bugs inside. I was like, what the hell? I literally threw the thing onto the floor, right? Because it was an empty container of food that I forgot about. So when I went to look inside, there were all these like weird bugs. And I like literally threw the thing because I got shocked. I did not expect that there'd be so many bugs in there. Where did they come from?
Well, it goes to what I mentioned again about a totally sealed garbage bag. Within a week of leaving it out in my humid garbage container, it's hundreds of thousands of maggots in there.
Exactly. Look at this. Can you see, like, why is there a tree growing at the top of this rock? Did a tree seed fly up there? This crack here, the top of this building, right? In this wall, in this crack here, in this crack here. Like, how did the tree seed get up there? Did the wind carry it up there?
A lot of these, let's be real, a lot of these places look very uncomfortable for a bird to, take a crap in. So you
islands
use that
in the middle of the ocean. Think about islands how did the islands in the middle of the ocean ever get plant life?
Right.
Look at these. Like, why are there trees growing on this rock?
Wow. So yeah, these big rocks in the middle of the ocean.
Have trees on them and life because it's just soil and water. Allah brought these plants forth directly. And this is a funny video. Look at this. They're in the ocean. It's like this like patch of green. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Itu buyahan anda buya. Ya, inilah pulau ya. Kami sudah sampai di pulau.
It's like a little Minecraft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, how did the plant life get here in the middle of the ocean from an atheistic worldview? And these aren't even, by the way, plants that birds eat, right? Like, a bird's not going to eat this type of plant. They'll eat fruit, okay, but these aren't fruit. So how did these plants get here? The wind, okay, the wind carried the seed across the ocean and it landed right here, coincidentally.
That's brilliant, man. That's amazing. Praise God.
So this is, look at this clip here. The clip I took, okay? So I'm on a bridge, okay?
Guys, look, I'm on a bridge, okay? It's a bridge. Look, land.
So you land here, water here, land here.
Bridge,
Look on the bridge.
So I'm on a bridge, okay? Look. You can see there's like stuff growing on the cracks of the bridge, look.
So this is a man-made bridge over the water, okay?
Yep.
Yet there's plants growing on it. How? From where? So the seed flew there?
Yeah.
But we're up here, look, on a bridge. The land
That's really
is down
something.
there, and we're over water, but shit's growing.
And I've seen this also on a synthetic soccer field, okay? This is a synthetic soccer field, and it's like 2 stories high, and there's a garage underneath, right? But on the synthetic soccer field, they have the water where these things come out and they spray water on the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the corners of the soccer field are plants growing in the cracks. But this is a raised soccer field, right? That's like 2 stories high. So it's like, why are there plants growing on the soccer field? That's raised up.
You know what's amazing? It's the atheist. His biggest foil and struggle is trying to create life. He is unable to create life, unable to even make a fly from all of their power. Yet God creates life so abundantly and ubiquitously in the most unexpected of places. God creates life upon life upon life, and they can't even create a little fly.
Alhamdulillah. And then you have random plants appearing out of nowhere. So this girl posed, I think a random raspberry bush growing in my yard. It has small red berries, but I don't want to assume that that's what they are there, but I don't have any clue how it could have got here, right?
Yeah.
Are there bushes that produce fruit that look like raspberry and have similar leaves? Because she just saw a random raspberry tree growing in her backyard, right?
She can't believe her own eyes.
Yeah, so people in the comments are like, a bird ate it and took a shit, right? It's possible, to be honest, right? But it's also possible that it was raised up directly by Allah, right? So these are like the you don't know examples, but I gave you the clear examples. Okay, they finally loaded.
And again, if that's the case, if a bird took a poo there, I mean, then your whole backyard would be just covered in a layer of poo.
Right. Yeah, you know what? You're right. It just really random because they came in behind and under my pool deck. How's a bird taking a shit under her pool deck?
Right.
We've never grown them, so I don't know where this random plant grew in my pot outside.
There's many more comfortable spots to do that.
The plant randomly started growing in one of my pots a couple years back, but then I kind of forgot about it and just left it outside. Today it looks like this, but I'm not sure what it is. Located in South Florida. Someone commented what it was, and they said, how did a random Burley Max find its way in there? So she has a pot, right?
Yep.
And a random plant started growing, and it's people are confused how that ended up in there, in the soil. No idea. I was just starting getting the houseplants, and one day I saw a little leaf in an empty pot. Had it with soil. I was expecting to be some kind of weed, and I forgot about it until the other day. I freshened up the soil and added more since the plant was negative. Like, how is a random plant that has nothing like it around ending up in her pot?
Right.
Random plants started growing in my pot. What is it?
So then I would say in this case, with the non-seed, non-mommy and daddy method, it's just God who decides exactly what plant to grow in exactly what spot.
Right. So, right. That's why I reacted to it and I couldn't find it. Now the mystery is, where did it come from and why is it in the wrong continent? She has a plant growing in her pot that's from the wrong continent.
Yeah.
$6.99. And so I'm going to guess that a migratory bird pooped out a seed in your pot. And he's the one who sends down from the sky water. Then we bring forth the vegetation of all kinds, right? Indeed, that is science for people who believe. My plant has some random mystery plant that started growing inside the pot. Very cool, but I'm hoping these mystery plants won't harm the base plant. The plant is at least 3 years old, and thus is the first I've seen of this occurrence. She has a pot, she's watering it, but then these other plants start growing out of nowhere after 3 years.
Right.
Right? So where is it coming from? This random plant, different type of plant.
Yeah.
I have a Dracula, I don't know how to say that, for almost a year. I noticed a couple weeks ago this plant started sprouting. The pot has only been in one room, no windows or doors open near it. What plant is this and how did it get there? Do you understand? She has a plant indoor, right? She's had it for almost a year. She's watering it. And then a random plant starts growing there, okay? But this is indoors. So if it's indoors, no windows or doors open near it, how did the seed get in there? It can't be wind because it's indoor, right?
A bird snuck in the middle of the night and just found that one spot to take a crap in, and then flew off into the night.
Now go look around. Now that you know this information, travel around and see all the plants Allah has created. A lot of them Allah brought forth by His decree using the water. And the ones in weird places or a new plant appearing suddenly with none like it around, you have to ask yourself, did a seed end up here or was it brought forth by Allah using the water? The more isolated the spot, the easier it will be to come to realize that a plant did not come from a seed. Mainstream science will tell you that all seeds of plants are spread by winds and the droppings of animals. While possible, and it does happen, it can't answer every observation we experience, such as dead deserts with no seeds sprouting everywhere, with no seeds somehow sprout everywhere when it rains, and isolated places growing plants and random plant species not with anything like it around, right? So why do we have seeds then? So 2053, and sent down from the sky water, then we bring forth the pairs mates of every plant diverse. So when Allah brings forth the plants, He does so with them having a reproductive system. Can you see that? So He sends down water, then He brings forth mates of every plant. So He brings forth the plants, but they have a reproductive system. That's why we have seeds and plants can mate. But, for example, when the earth was created, there were no plants, right? It was just all soil, right?
Yep.
Then Allah sent down water and all the plants started growing and they had pairs and mates. That's how He brings them, right? One of the purposes of seeds is to allow humans to grow plants when and where they want them. For example, we can explore nature and find some random fruit trees, vegetables and crops growing. We can then collect the seeds so we can plant them and start our own farms. Without seeds, there will be no way for us to start a farm with wild plants we find, which most likely Allah brought forth directly. Then we can plant the seeds, harvest, and keep the seeds for the next season. So we have the ability to plant what we want, where we want, and when we want. Without the seeds, this would not be possible.
We can harness the vegetation.
Exactly. So we can go in the forest and you find a random date palm tree, a random banana tree. You can then start your own farm where you want, right? You're not just reliant on that one tree that you found. You don't have to explore the earth to find a random tree everywhere and then everyone's trying to live off that. No, you can grab the seeds, make your own farm and clear the land and plant. And then you can harvest, grab the seeds for the next season, right? And you can do this to feed everyone. So that's the benefit of seeds. Wow. Allah causes plants to grow with the water. So we have the bringing forth of the plants, right? So Allah, He's the one who splits the seed. So even when it's the seed, right? It's Allah. You understand? Even when a human is created in the womb, it's still Allah. When He brings forth the plant from nothing, it's Allah. When the plants are there and growing, you see a small plant become you see a tree become a massive tree, right? That's still Allah. He causes to grow for you with it, which is the water, the crops, the olives, the palm trees, the grapevines, and all the flowers and fruits. Indeed, that is a sign for people who give thought. We send down blessed water from the sky, and we cause to grow with it gardens and harvestable grain. Did they not look at the earth? How much we cause to grow therein from every noble kind? Indeed, that is a sign, but most of them are not believers. How we pour down water in torrents, then we broke open the earth splitting, then we cause to grow therein grains, grapes, herbs, olives, date palms, and dense gardens. So what you'll notice is like during the rainy season, right? It rains a lot, but that's when you see the most plant growth. Like your backyard, it'll rain and your backyard will turn into a little forest, right?
Yeah.
So the plants need water for growth, but how does water become plant matter? That's the question. That's Allah. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And they have their little legs in the soil. So when the water, they absorb it, drink it, but then the plants grow. So even the growing of the bringing forth and the sprouting is all Allah. We have to realize this. Good and bad land. And you have the good land. Its vegetation comes forth by the permission of its Lord. But that which is bad, nothing comes forth except with difficulty. Thus, we diversify the signs for people who are grateful. So some lands are more abundant than others in vegetation, even if water is present. Some land struggles more to produce vegetation compared to others. Like the soil quality might not be good, right? Even if it has water, it still won't produce anything. So some lands are more abundant than others. So these are the signs of reason, right? What Allah sends down from the sky, provision giving life to the earth after its death, is a sign for people of reason. Now, inshallah, you realize how Allah giving life to the earth after its death is one of his signs for a people of reason and understanding. Then you have 45:6, which is, these are the verses of Allah we recite to you in truth. Then in what statement after Allah and his verses will they believe? So 45:5 tells you about his signs, right?
Yeah.
And he tells you, are you going to believe Allah's hadith or are you going to believe science? You guys
Of course,
pick.
I'm going to choose the best of hadith.
Which matches reality and doesn't require assumptions. That's the beautiful thing. Oh, there's the flies, they hide in your houses in the shit in the corners during the winter. They're hiding. Okay? So find them. Can you find them? No, you can't. Oh, they're under the shit, dude.
Again, imagine this. Well, I'm filling up my garbage can. So my garbage can is filled up with, I don't know, leftover tomatoes and onion peels and banana peels and stuff like that. These banana peels, and this is all in the fridge. Now it's in my garbage, which is closed off. There's a door that shuts off my garbage. And then I take that garbage, I completely seal it off, and I put it in the area, the container, until garbage day. How in the world are hundreds of thousands of maggots formed within a week?
Alhamdulillah. Then you have, remember, 2164, a science for a reason. 13:2, he details the signs that you of the meeting of with your Lord be certain, right? These are signs that we can be certain in the meeting with Allah. 46:33, do they not see that Allah, who created the heavens and the earth and did not fail in their creation, is able to give life to the dead? Yes, indeed, he is all things competent. So we are supposed to be able to see that Allah gives life to the dead. How do we see that?
Yeah, and quickly I want to say regarding the maggots, there's no rain, obviously, in my garbage can, but there is latent water in the apple peel, in the, or banana peel, all this rainwater, this moisture in there. That's the root of where the life comes from.
Correct, exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, continue on.
Yes, so do they not see that Allah is able to give life to the dead? I see it. Do you see it?
That's crystal clear, man.
I hope everyone watching today can see it, right?
Yeah.
Allah has made his signs clear. 188. Those who do not know, they say, why does Allah not speak to us? Or they come to us a sign. They're asking like, oh, if Allah is real, why doesn't he speak to us? Or doesn't he show us proof? Why doesn't he show himself? Thus spoke those before them like their words. Their hearts resemble each other. We have shown clearly the signs to a people who are certain. They're like, where's the evidence of Allah? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? But Allah is telling us, we have shown clearly the signs to a people who are certain. The rejectors who do not know ask for evidence of Allah, but he has already made the signs clear to us. Subhanallah. And as always, Allah knows best. A land that is dead, humbled, infertile, barren, Allah sends down water on it and he gives it life. A clear sign of Allah that we are meant to reflect on. Thank you everybody for watching.
You see how...
I'm doing an outro now. Can we do an outro? Or you want to add something?
Yeah, I want to quickly say something. You see how when you don't give so much credence to scientific theories, rather than straining the Quran through the understandings you've been taught, you actually try to read the Quran from as unbiased and open a perspective as possible. You see the richness and the deep meaning and the understanding that comes out of it. It's a shame that we try to strain the Quran through our own assumptions rather than letting it speak.
Exactly. So when Allah says he brings forth, I'm like, okay, he's being literal. He's being serious here. Let me just look at this thing, right? And you look and it's like, wait, what is happening here? Right? He is in control of the alteration of night and day, right? He means he is. Do you understand? It's clear.
Direct.
Okay, I'll do an outro now. Thank you everybody for watching. Do you want to say goodbye, Walid?
Yeah, peace be upon you guys, and overall just deeply reflect on the information that's presented here.
Alhamdulillah.